I know what I'll do. Got an idea. So, I have a mate who's going to be getting a bike soon. Three-wheeled 125 Yamaha, I believe. So what I thought I'd do, because he's going to be a new rider, he's never had a bike before. I'm going to set up a series of videos, like a playlist, and it'll be aimed at new riders and just have kind of tips and stuff on there. So what I'll probably call the playlist is Damian, which is my mate's name. So these videos will be dedicated to him and other people like him, which will be new riders and people just starting out. Yeah, so the very first thing that I will talk about, because it's really relevant at the moment, is how to handle wind. I'm actually riding with one hand here. You can get used to it. It's not as scary as some people make out. Especially since you, Damian, will have a three-wheeler. You'll have extra grip on the front of the bike. So open this a little bit. Extra grip on the front of the bike, so your grip you will not really need to worry about. But wind, yeah, you know when you set out whether a day's going to be really windy or not. But apart from being able to predict that element, the rest of it, about which way the wind's bloody blowing and how strong it's going to be and what time, blah blah blah, that's all absolutely random. You never know what direction the wind is going to go, unless, like, well, one time I actually managed, when I was riding, to see a bunch of leaves swirling around in front of me, so I was able to prepare for me hitting that wind. Anyway, I digress. Wind. The main rule to handling wind, especially side on, ones that come across you like so, just like this, is to lean into it. So you may see, it'll probably happen today because it's very windy, especially when I'm on the motorway, is I'll get a lot of crosswind and you'll see my bike. Let's demonstrate. I'll do things like that. You'll see the bike move and lean into it. That is just me counteracting the wind, because what's actually happening is, obviously, if the wind is coming from the right going towards my left, it's going to blow my bike like this ever so slightly. So what I'll need to do to counteract that is lean into it, which effectively is turning into the wind. You can't just turn the bike like that, because when you're going at speed you don't want to turn the bike, because you mess up the centre of gravity and it will throw you off to one side. So just like when you're turning around a corner, you lean into corners, like so. I'm about to turn into this corner. I'm going to dip in ever so slightly first, but I lean into the corner. Watch out for that joint. Yeah, it's just the same as turning a corner. So whichever side the wind is hitting you from, so if it's hitting you on that side, you lean to the left. If it's hitting you on that side, look at this woman, you lean to the right. What that will do is counteract. So instead of pushing you off to the side, you will more or less stay on the spot. You will more or less stay on the spot and just be leaning. Headwind, depending on what bike, I don't remember what the fairing looks like on your bike, Damian, but I'm sure it's got some kind of windscreen on there similar to this, if not bigger. So that's the windscreen's there. It's exactly what it says on the tin. It's to screen you from the wind. A lot of people, especially new riders, when they get hit head on with wind, especially going at speed, their front handlebars shake. what that's actually doing is that's actually the wind hitting your shoulders, translating through stiff arms straight into the handlebars and wiggling the front like so. Once you learn to be relaxed when you're riding and have slightly bent arms, so any kind of movement in your upper body is not directly translated in the steering, once you learn to do that, it will be fine, and head-on wind wouldn't be so much of a problem or an issue. But the windscreen actually protects you from a lot of that head-on wind. It will stop the majority of the wind from hitting your chest anyway, at the very least. And you'll be able to ride no problem. Wind coming from behind, just enjoy it, mate. Make you go a bit faster. I suppose if there's wind coming from behind you, you could say it takes away from an element of your braking force. It's probably going to be unnoticeable. So I will try my best to keep my head straight to demonstrate how much I'm having to lean into this bike like that. I just had wind coming from the right and I had to lean into it ever so slightly to your right. In theory, I feel like I have to say, you know, if it's coming from the right, you lean to the right. If it's coming from the left, you lean to the left. But in practice, as it's happening, it's just going to be obvious. You're going to feel the bike wanting to do something that you do not want it to do, and you're going to naturally correct it. So I think the only tip that I would say, I'm going to try and keep this short. The only thing that I would say with regards to counteracting wind, or if you're going out on a windy day for like the first time, or you're not really experienced in it, is do not ride too slow. The slower you ride, the more the wind, in some instances, the more the wind can affect you. I won't say will, the more the wind can affect you. So for example, if you're going really slow and the wind really hits you, it's going to knock you over to one side, and because of the speed that you're going, you don't want to lean. You don't lean when you're going slow. You turn the handlebars when you're going slow. The last thing you want to really be doing is having to battle the wind by turning your handlebars into it and possibly having to accelerate as well. You don't want to get into that situation. I'm not saying you can never ride slowly when it's windy. I'm just saying don't be put off by the wind, and don't let it cause you to ride slow in other conditions where you'd be riding at a normal speed. Just keep continuing. Stay in the middle of the lane until you get used to it. You know, you don't want to be riding on that seat here. I'm on the line, but I just got blown from the left and I had to lean into the left. If you're slow to counteract it, you will probably get pushed over that line ever so slightly until you make your move. But until you're confident, what is like saying? That's alright. Until you're absolutely confident, just give yourself a lot of space, lateral space. There's no harm in owning the road. That's one of the best things you can do anyway, is to own the road and don't let anyone think that you're yielding in any way. Be wary of larger vehicles, Damian. Be wary of buses, trucks and stuff, because they get affected by the wind a lot, because they have a very large side surface area. I know you know this, but it's just something to take into consideration. You could be overtaking them, they'll get hit by side on wind and just come veering into you. So just be mindful of that. Anything else? Not really. Those are the most important things. I would say with most things, just don't let it affect you so much. Don't let it affect your ability to ride. Ride as normal and just take these extra things into consideration. And I think I'll leave it there. So I think that's my first Damian episode.